Where are you at right now? Are you in a place of pain? Like, are you financially in a place where it's like, this is not the life that I was made to live? I know inside of me there's something more. I have these opportunities for my kids and I can't afford it. I want to put them in sports. I want to put them in a private school, but I can't. Let's get into it for what we're talking about today on the strategy of increasing your income. And this is really where we're going to start this talk, is starting out where you are. I want you to, wherever you are at work-wise now, that's really where you should focus. How do I make more money where I'm already at? Don't do something totally new. Don't jump into a completely different field. Don't switch from, I have this active income over here and I want to move to active income over here and move into an unstable position, right? You're just going to trade X for Y, and there's always this gap in there where you're not making as much money, and it's like, what if it doesn't work out? Start where you're already at. What job are you already doing? Essentially, think of it in this perspective. How do you add more value to the current company that you're working for? And when you add more value, when you bring in additional income for the company, how do you get a piece of that? And I would honestly just think of it from that perspective. If any of my employees came to me and said, hey, Brett, I'm doing this, I'm going to keep doing that, but what else can I do? Can I do this over here, right? I'm already here. Can I stay a couple extra hours? Can I work on this side over here? Can I do this? Can I sell some of these things over here, right? I see you're selling some things. Can I come in on commission? Can I sell some of these things? If you're already in the building, if you already have the knowledge of what the industry is like and you have the existing relationships, this is where you need to focus, because you can leverage your time and position and opportunity because you're already doing those things. You're already in that place. So I want you to think of it from that perspective. How do you talk to your current boss? How do you stay in your current niche? How do you get another customer similar to the customers that you already have? Or if you're in one type of job, how do you stay in that same kind of industry and look at a very similar type of position and say, hey, you know what? Can I pick up shifts on the weekend? Can I do these extra hours? If you're already there, man, what's the difference, right? You're already there. You don't have to go and commute somewhere else, right? I think this is the best place to start, where you already are and what you're already doing. And then just say, hey, you know what? What else can I do? How can I add some more value to this place? And I think that you definitely should not go and do something like, let me just get another part-time job, right? If you're making $25 an hour, and you're working whatever it is, don't go and get another $25 an hour job, right? Don't go get a job at In-N-Out or, get a receptionist job at a dentist office. That's not what I would encourage you to do. I think that you need to increase the amount of pay you're getting per hour, per unit. And think of it from this perspective. You're already making, whether it's $25 an hour or, $45,000 a year, whatever number you're making, $50,000 a year. What you want to do is essentially just double the amount of hourly wage that you have. Get at least $50 an hour. If you're making 25, then get 50, right? Don't go and get a second part-time job making the same amount of money you are. If you're waiting tables, don't get another waiting table job, right? Find something, because you're not going to add an extra 40 hours of work. If you're already working 40 hours, it's not realistic that you can do this forever working an extra 40. Now you have 80 hours a week. That's not what we're talking about. If you can commit to an extra 2 hours a day after work, before after work, you're already there, you're staying in the same place, or just a Saturday, a full day on the Saturday, half a day Saturday, half a day Sunday, how can you put in an extra 8 or 10 hours a week where you are making double the amount of wage? And perhaps it's not something at your same job, but what if it's something, an existing skill set that you already have? So when I say stay where you are, perhaps it's not at an actual business, but maybe it's where you are in your skills or in your mind or what you can currently do. What I'm trying to say is don't go learn something totally new. Do what you already have and increase the value that you can bring, because you don't have an extra 40 hours a week. But if you can put in an extra 8 or 10 hours a week, then this is something that is long-term and sustainable. So I would think of it like this. Your job, your goal over the next 1 to 3 months is to increase your income by 10%. How do you increase your income by 10%? Let's just say you make $6,000 a month after you pay the man in taxes. Okay, how do I take 10% of that? $600. How do I get an extra $600 a month? right? And that's not hard math. Okay, $600 a month, divide that by 4. I need to make $150 a week extra, right? Is that one Saturday? How do I make $150 on a Saturday? Well, that's not too hard, okay? Just think of it from that perspective. Your first initial goal is to increase your income by 10%. That should be pretty easy to do. Find something scalable, sustainable, where you make a substantial more amount of money per unit of hour. Then step 2, right? In the next 6 months, here's your goal: to increase your income by 20%. And you may not jump from 10 to 20 right away, but how do you get from 10 to 12 to 15 to 18 to 20% over the next 6 months? That's really what we want you to do, right? How do you get to, I am now making an extra 20% of my income? Because last time we talked about, how do I save an extra 20%? How do I cut an extra 20% out of the budget, right? We are trying to get you to a place where you have this wide cushion here. You have a 40% margin. That is life-changing numbers right there. If you can get to 40%, that's not what most Americans save. Most Americans save 2-3%. That's bullcrap. You're not going anywhere with that. 40% is a no joke, real deal. I'm going to get somewhere. I'm going to achieve my goals in the next 5 years. You're going to see serious action if you can get this way. And if you just break it into offensive team and defensive team, 20% here, 20% there, it's super doable. And then you compound that by getting your spouse, your partner on the same team with you, get on the same page, running these same plays, committed to the same goals. Man, you know what? Then you guys are cooking. It took Laura and us from like, man, we were poor and broke as crap. She was working 3 jobs. I was working 2 and just hated our lives. It took us not that long, like 8 years or something, to go from start like waiting tables to financially free, right? That was it, 8 years. We just burned the boats. We got on the same page. We were committed and we took action steps on a plan. And this is literally the plan that I'm talking about, right? Over these 6 steps. That's it. It was kind of that simple. It was not easy at all, but it was simple.
Not easy at all. It took a lot of discipline, I think is the best word to describe it. Is, man, you have to have a lot of discipline to, first of all, create a budget. And second of all, talk about money with your spouse. And then third of all, not go out and not spend money on extravagant things. And it's hard because we love going out. We love food. We love those things. But I think having a future minded outlook on things really helped us to have that why. Like, why are we doing this? So are we doing this for us? Are we doing this for our kids? Are we doing it for other people? Like, why are we doing this? So yeah, it was not an easy road, but now looking back on it, I would do it 100 times over.
Oh, for sure. And what she talked about here with your why, right? I think that's an important point for you guys to consider. Where are you at right now? Are you in a place of pain? Like, are you financially in a place where it's like, this is not the life that I was made to live? I know inside of me there's something more that I should be having, right? I have these opportunities for my kids and I can't afford it. I want to put them in sports. I want to put them in a private school. I want to move to this other neighborhood, right? But I can't. Like, what is the pain point that you have? Perhaps it's your parents. Are you not able to financially take care of your parents as they are aging and they haven't prepared for themselves? There's some type of things that you are missing in this life. There's a gap, right? You're here and you want to be here. This distance that you have, that's your pain. And I would talk about that with your spouse. And we did. We were in a crap storm of like, we hate this situation in our lives. And we got on the same page and said, you know what? We are going to commit to do this together. Or what if it's the other side? What if it's not pain that you're in, but it's a opportunity that you're missing, right? What about the trips that you want to take? You may have all the food on the table you need, but you know, what about those vacations, those dreams, those goals that you want to do, and you're not able to do them? What about the heart that you have to want to help people, right? When you're in your church or in your community and you see people struggling financially, you see that family friend that got cancer and you want to step up and, you know, you want to help and you just can't. Your budget is strapped, right? You may be, you know, not necessarily living a paycheck to paycheck, but you can't be the blessing that you want. That's pain there too, right? Because you are not living the life that God created you to live. You want to be in abundance. You want to have hands wide open. You're like, here, I got all of this because I'm a steward. I'm a great steward. I have learned these financial intelligence things and just it comes to me because I'm following a system and a path and I'm diligent with these things. So I would encourage you to have these conversations with your spouse. Sometimes you guys are just not on the same page. Sometimes you want totally different things, right? Sometimes one person just wants to blow all the money and say, screw retirement. We're going to die before then. I'll tell you what, we run an end of life business, and it is so expensive to die, and it takes decades of dying slowly and painfully, and it's so expensive, and it's not quick, and it's not painless, and it's not cheap. So prepare for this, because you will see your parents, what it costs them, and when they become a burden to you, if that is the case, because they did not take action steps like this. So what I would say to you, right? We're talking about this gap. We're talking about, 40%, okay? 20% of cutting from your crappy budget, and you cut the crap out of it. And then 20% of increasing your income gives you this 40% margin. But here's the thing. If you spend it month after month, you're like, hey, babe, we just made all this extra money. We deserve it, right?
Yeah.
We worked so hard. Bro, you don't deserve any of that crap. You know what you deserve is the life of your dreams, right? Put in 5 years now of hustling, grinding, hard work. It sucks. Whatever, just do it. It's 5 years for the next 50 years, right? You're not going to set yourself up for 50 years and 5 years, but you will start the snowball going, which will continue to roll, and you will have an abundance, right? You will have way more than you need. But if you don't put in this short 5 years now, man, then you will suffer for the next 50 years. And you just got to start, you got to execute this plan. So as you are saving this money, as you're increasing your income, you cannot spend this money. This is literally not your money. This is what we told ourselves. Laura, like, we would have this conversation, hey, we got this money in the account. It's not ours. It's not. You know whose money it is? It's our future selves. This is our money when we hit 60, 70, 80, 90, right? My grandma just lived to 104 years old. It cost her over $1 million after she turned 90 years old. She didn't financially plan for that. I mean, she was fine, but she did not think she was going to live that long. Man, we are all going to live so much longer than we are budgeting for, right? Technology, all that stuff is just blowing up. So you got to get your crap together. You have to have these awkward, hard conversations with your spouse, and you got to encourage them, babe, we need to do this. What is our why? What is the pain that we're in? Because, man, life is long and it's expensive.